Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People, because I love working for the fans of the Carolina Panthers. Really excited. We're officially 1 week away from when the veterans report to training camp for Spartanburg. The rookies are reporting even earlier, and I'm going to be down there bringing you lots of coverage about that, aiming to be the place you would get the most video of Bryce. So this is where I ask for the subscribe if you haven't already done so. Help us get, the goal is 10,000 subscribers by the end of training camp. I know we can do it. If I bring you good content, you guys should appreciate it and come. So that's what I'm hoping for. But if you already have subscribed, hit the like button. That helps other Panther fans find out about us. Would really, really appreciate it. And we also going to be getting started with our membership so you guys can support us. We got a great team this year, new photographer that's outstanding, getting us great pictures. So let's go ahead and get into it because I wanted to do some videos as I know we're getting close to the time for training camp and kind of like itching for it, right? So we're going to continue this week with having some fun topics to talk about regarding this Carolina Panthers team. And here's what I want to stress. You all need to be a part of the show. That's why I'm going live, is be for you to call in and be a part of the show, whether that's on your cell phone, your computer. I want you all to get used to it. You know, we're, I believe, the only credentialed member of the media. I guess radio stations do it, right? But that allows you to really be a part of the show and want to hear from you. So please join me. I'm going to put the link. The link is already in the in the description. I'm going to right now post the link in the comments as well, and want you all to use that to join me. So give me a second to do that. And we'll be getting going here in just a second. Meanwhile, let me know how anxious you are for training camp if you're logged in, watching. Uh, Man, anybody else go to YouTube and easily get distracted by other videos that they try to show you? I do. I get distracted all the time, but I try to fight it. So give me a second. I'm just trying to put that link and pin it to the comments so everybody can see it. All right, here we go. About to pin this comment right here. Let's see. Join us live. All right, here we go. So that link is now pinned in the comment section on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter or on Facebook, you won't see the link. So I would encourage you, if you do want to join in live, because I want to hear from you. I want to hear your opinions on these questions, right? Yesterday's topic was, what player would you most like to add to this current roster? It could be a player from any point in the Panthers history, but you'll be adding that player to this current roster. Julius Peppers seems to be the winner. And of course, you heard other names, Cam Newton, Steve Smith. So today's question, if you could change one moment in Carolina Panthers history, what would that be? So lots of stuff could be used for this, right? Lots of stuff. And if you're watching on the rebroadcast, leave it in the comments, please. I love to see what everybody thinks. And if you're watching live, please consider to click that link that I just put in the comments or in the description. Come on. I think not my co-host Andre Cassidy, but Andre, I think it was Cunningham, could be wrong, but my man Andre came on yesterday and gave his 2 cents. So if you could change one moment in Panthers history, what would it be? I'm going to touch on a few of the great moments that came to mind for me. None of these ended up being my moment, but what about the Super Bowl loss in 2003 against the New England Patriots? Would you have liked for that to have been changed to where instead of us losing by a kick, we win by a kick? I know Steve Smith would love that. Giving him a ring. Lots of players would love that. Julius Peppers would love that. That would have been a good game to have been different. During that 2015 season, when they went 15-1. I believe it was the last game of the season. I forget exactly. I know I was there, which was awesome. First loss of the season. No, it was not the last game of the season. First loss of the season came against the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. Would have been cool to have gone 16-0, and that had been a different chance, different moment. But those are a few. You know, I like to ask this. I didn't think about this until just now. Could I add coaching? Could I add personnel decisions to it? Could I say XYZ coach? You know, Matt Rule. That was, man, if I could change that. But we're gonna stick with it being on the field, related to if you could change that one moment in history, what would it be? And again, for everybody that's tuning in, if you had the opportunity to come on the show, the links in the description, the links in the comments, I'd love to have you come on and just state what that moment is for you. Until that happens, I'm going to read a few comments that are coming in so far about this topic. Bo Carter says, have Jordan Gross to block Von Miller, meaning Von Miller would not have gotten that sack strip on Cam Newton in the Super Bowl. Or Casey kicked the ball inbounds on the kickoff. Another Super Bowl moment, right, for the Carolina Panthers. That's from a man, Bo Carter. I'm gonna say one more, and then I'm gonna get into mine. My co-host Andre Cassidy got his, and hopefully we'll hear some more from you all before we get out of here. A fresh moment that I wish I could change in Carolina Panthers history would be the game down in Atlanta last year when my man P.J. Walker was our quarterback, and you know that game looked like the Falcons are going to win. No, it looked like the Panthers are going to win. Looks like the Falcons are going to win. No, on an unbelievable play, P.J. Walker throws the ball a mile. DJ Moore catches it, touchdown. Wow. All he's got to do now is come out, make the kick, and win. And, like, the craziest sequence of events happened with the celebration, with the missed kick, with another missed kick. And then we lost that game down there in Atlanta. And, you know, anytime you watch these losses in person, they just seem to hit just a little bit harder. So that's kind of like my top three moments that come to mind. Donald Duck, hey, haven't seen you in a while. Appreciate you signing on. I'm doing good. One more week and one day until I'm personally down in Spartanburg, bringing you all lots of updates about this Carolina Panthers team. NFL Kid says, oh yeah. So for me, I don't know if this is cheating a little bit. You know, this is all in fun, so maybe we can cheat a little bit. I would have really liked, I think I'm about to change my thoughts here. Let me see. Yeah, I would have really liked for us to win Super Bowl 50. There was a couple things that happened in that Super Bowl with the Kotchery catch that may have helped give us some momentum. You had the Von Miller stripping of Cam Newton that may have made a difference. You know, it wasn't one single play where you're like, man, we absolutely really had it. There was a few things that happened in that Super Bowl 50 where, you know, the Denver Broncos defense just really had our number that game, and we weren't able to pull it out. But I think that just would have been like, for Panthers lore, for Panthers history, like even that first Super Bowl in 2003, that would have been great. I'm not saying any Super Bowl is ever bad for your franchise history, but imagine where we would be if we had won that game in terms of NFL history. 15-1, only lost one game, and then win the Super Bowl. That is some elite history. But now we're kind of like also in the, not exactly, but kind of like with the Patriots when they went perfect throughout the regular season, but then they lost the Super Bowl. You know, we get to be in that conversation. I'm like, oh man, greatest, best seasons, but disappointing moments where you didn't win it all. So for me, it would have been the winning of Super Bowl 50, his final record would have been 16-1. You know, there's been talk about Cam Newton being a Hall of Famer. I'm not going to touch on that part of it exactly, but if Cam had won that Super Bowl that year, regular season MVP, Super Bowl MVP, 16-1, I mean, I'm not sure that would have got him in, but that would have been really, really good. So if Icky blocked him, Sam Darnold could have led a game-winning drive. So let me go ahead and turn this over. We're going to have a bonus question for you as well today. And let me know who's excited about training camp, which is now right around the corner. And out the corner of my eye is a funny scene where it looks like a lawn guy is laying sideways in the grass. I don't know what he's doing. Resting? It just looks kind of weird. But nevertheless, let me see if I can go ahead and pull up Andre and get his thoughts on this. Let's see here. Hopefully I'm going to pull up the right one.
All right, so this is kind of a tougher question to answer, and it made me kind of think about how I would answer this. But here we go. Would you rather be the coach of All right, here.
All right, so I messed up. I went to play the wrong video of the second question. Sorry about that, Andre. Let me go ahead and play the right question. Here we go. Take two.
Go with today's question. If you could change one moment in Panthers history, what would it be, and how would it alter the team's trajectory? And there's a lot of moments that you can think of right away that you could say would be that moment. Of course, you're thinking of the two Super Bowls, Super Bowl 38 with the John Casey kick out of bounds, Super Bowl 50 with Cam Newton getting strip sacked by Von Miller, leading to a touchdown that ultimately changed the trajectory of that game. The pace flow of that game changed in that one play. But the moment that I'm thinking about right here is back in 2017, in my junior year of high school. The Panthers making it to the playoffs as a wild card 11-5 football team, playing the New Orleans Saints, who had swept them up to that point. Of course, they just could not beat the Saints that year. And again, this became evident in this wild card match. But the Panthers had an opportunity to drive down the field and ultimately take the lead. People remember this game vividly because this is the last time that we saw Cam Newton in the playoffs. And people forget about that 2017 season. And if Devin Funchess, this is the moment right here, if Devin Funchess pulls in that touchdown catch to presumably win the game, there would be so many altering things that would have taken place had the Panthers won that game. And unfortunately, as history has stated, of course, they lost that game. And things kind of went downhill after that 2017 season to eventually Cam Newton having his proverbial downfall from grace. So for me, that 2017 wild card game against the Saints, if that were a game that we won, I do feel like Carolina would at least probably still have Cam Newton right now if things pulled through in that game.
So there you have it, here from good old co-host Andre Cassidy. I don't know if we'd still have Cam because he had some injuries that really started hindering his performance. It's almost like saying we'd still have Devin Funchess. I don't know, you may, but I mean, it's fun stuff, right? It's just conversation to say, what if? What if? So for Andre, the moment was 2017 against the Saints, winning that game. Just think that could have been different for the franchise as well. Let me see here. Got a comment from a man, Donald Duck. Super Bowl 50, I'm convinced it was rigged. The NFL had to give Manning a retirement gift. It really did seem like that, right? I'm one that's always slow to be on the conspiracy theories. But in watching that game, it just seemed like, man, we weren't of any of the breaks to get in Super Bowl 50, we didn't get any of them. We didn't seem to get any of them at all. But Donald Duck goes on to say that they couldn't let Peyton Manning retire with only one ring and having Eli with two. So there you have it. There you have it. All right, so hey, if you're watching, make sure you hit that like button, and we're gonna go ahead and go and talk about another one. If you come back and have a comment on the initial question, I'll jump back to it. But for now, I thought of another fun question. All right, so let's tackle this one. And this is the would you rather. So each day this week I'm gonna do two. I'm gonna do one question that's more about the players, the team itself, very specifically, and then the other question is more like a would you rather fun type of thing. All right. So now we're going to get into the would you rather question. Oh, let me add this one because Andre Cunningham. I would say the year after 2015, the big hit by Watt on Cam. Yeah, yeah. I think this guy is taking a nap or something. I wish, I mean, I could turn the camera, but then I have to move the blinds and all this stuff, but he's just laying on the ground. It's not even sunny out. But nevertheless, hey, that is what he is doing. All right, so here's the second question. Would you rather? Would you rather be the coach of a highly successful but unpopular team, or the coach of a beloved team but perpetually underperforming team? All right? Coach of a highly successful but unpopular team, or the coach of a okay team but very, very beloved. In these situations, I actually think of basketball teams first. So I feel like most NFL franchises have a pretty good fan base. I really do. You got to think about basketball, probably because there's more teams, like the smaller market teams, like a Utah Jazz, or heck, even the Denver Nuggets, being a team where it's like, hey, they're good, but how many people really care? It seems like a little bit, right? I feel like in football it's a little different. Even the Cleveland Browns, who are now a competitive team, it seemed like they still had a pretty good following. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and see what you guys think. And if anybody has any examples that come to mind of like, okay, this team is really beloved, but not that great, let me know. Leave it in the comments. So let's see what we got so far. Andre Cunningham saying that he would go for the highly successful route. He would rather be on the highly successful team. Hold on, I'm losing my notes here. Rather be highly successful but unpopular. Just win. That's what it is. Just win. Again, I keep thinking about basketball examples. Help me think of some football examples. I don't know what. Maybe because basketball just ended my mind so much into thinking of basketball teams. But all right, so far we got one vote. Highly successful team. That's not the most popular. That's their preference. And let's see. The NFL Kid says highly successful but unpopular. That's cool. That's cool. I'll give a chance for one others. No, you know what? While you all think about it, I'm gonna play my man Andre giving his thoughts on which one he would prefer. Any guesses on what Andre? Andre, let's see. I think it's like we're all nice people here, but let's just see. Not nice as in if you want the other one, you're not nice. Anyway,
All right, so this is kind of a tougher question to answer, and it made me kind of think about how I would answer this, but here we go. Would you rather be the coach of a highly successful but unpopular team, or the coach of a beloved but perpetually underperforming team? That's a tough one because there's a lot of variables that you have to consider. Why is that team unpopular, but yet you're widely successful? And then from the other part of it, it's like, how are you gauging, the beloved part of a team if they are underperforming? There's a lot to think about there, but if I had to choose, obviously I would go with being the coach of the highly successful team, but unpopular team. Unpopular meaning, from how I interpret it, uh, just doesn't connect well with the community, or they may not get the ratings that a big market team may get. That's the way that I look at it. But you always, in whatever you do, you want to be successful and good at what you're doing. And I think, when you look at it from the perspective of, man, you want to be popular, yes, but ultimately, at the end of the day, what is your goal? It's to win football games and to be successful. And when you're looking at it from that perspective, who cares if your team is popular or not? We're in the game, we're in the business of winning and losing football games. And you want to be on the latter end of it, winning football games. So if I had to choose, you want to be that coach who is a part of a successful team, but if they're unpopular, if I'm in that kind of position, who really cares? Because again, you're here to play and you're here to win. And if you're winning and you're successful, who cares what everybody else thinks in terms of popularity or of ratings? Because you're in it to win it. And that's the way that I view that.
So here's one way to look at it in terms of thinking. All right, maybe I'll pick the the latter, being I'm going to pick the team that's not as popular. I'm sorry, the team that's very beloved, but not really winning as many games as people think we should win. Here's one reason why you could choose to go that route and say I'd rather be the coach with the team that's very, very, very loved, very popular. And this is what makes me think about us. There's a lot of talk right now about running backs in the league. Running backs not getting all the money that they feel like they should get and what they used to get, and how franchise tag wise, you look at that stat, and it's been when running backs are franchise, their percent that they increase over the years is far behind other positions as far as that franchise tag is going up and up and up, like a lot. And then the franchise tag value for running backs is just going up, but just ever so slightly. And you think about it's a little different for coaches. I don't know if I want to say even if it's a lot different, but you never know how long you're going to be in this league, right? It's the not for long league. You don't know how long you're going to be a head coach. It's very few head coaches that are making it 5 years, 10 years, even fewer. Most coaches seem like they get 3 years. So much so that I think it was last year that the NFL sent out a memo to kind of tell teams, hey, you might want to think about basically stop firing your coaches so quickly, right? Give them a chance to get things turned around. Give your teams a chance to have some kind of stability and identity. But looking at it from that perspective, from a financial perspective, if you're at a team that is very, very loved, extremely popular, you're probably going to get paid pretty well. Pretty well. Versus if you're at that team that's not as popular, what's it like getting paid half of what a guy is getting paid that is nowhere near as good as you, right? I don't know. I would think that's maybe one way to look at it is from a financial standpoint. The coach on the beloved team is going to get a lot more than you are. As a matter of fact, so I asked for examples, and my man Andre Cunningham came through. He would say the Cowboys. Everybody loves them, but they can't get over the hump. Yeah, so the Cowboys, aka America's team, I don't know off the top of my head, but it's been eons since they've won a Super Bowl. You got to go back to man, I can see his face, but anyway, Troy Aikman days, Emmitt Smith days, a long time ago, when they were actually winning Super Bowls, and they haven't won one in forever. Tony Romo couldn't do it, and so, but the guys on that team, the coaches on that team, they get paid pretty well. I would go for being on the highly successful team just because I like less stress. Right? You know, if you're winning, life is good. Like all the problems kind of get uh, covered up by the success. And of course, as a head coach, you got to do a good job of not allowing that to happen where you start becoming a losing team. But man, when you're winning every game, when you're going to the playoffs, that's a good feeling. Success is a really, really, really good feeling. So for me, I would go ahead and choose the highly successful route. I'll give you all a moment to jump on, add any more comments. Also, you have the opportunity to come on live. So there's a link that's pinned to the top of the comments if you're on YouTube, or it's in the description on Facebook, and Twitter doesn't have that description, but it's on the description as well if you want to jump on and let me know what you think. So every day this week we'll continue. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday will be our last day for these kind of shows. Just having some fun, you know, kind of barbershop talk, if you will, regarding the Carolina Panthers. And hey, I'm willing to change the topics. I already got my 5 topics for the week laid out, but you can't be man to people without taking input from your viewers, right? So if you have a suggested topic for the show to debate, let me know. If I get enough of them, I will certainly be open to changing one of my current topics to talk about and switching it in with one of the topics that you guys would like to talk about. See if there's any other news to pop up and talk about before we get out of here. DJ Moore is trending on Twitter. Why is that? Oh, DJ Moore just had his baby. Congratulations, DJ Moore, on your newborn baby. But let me look at one other thing really quick. So here's one I just seen on Twitter with people responding. Make me the owner from day one. There's no telling how much success would have been had. This is from a parody account of the name is David Tepper's Ego. So that's in fun. Cage Luke on Twitter says, beat Green Bay and the NFC Championship. I think we would have beat New England in Super Bowl 31. So again, that's beat Green Bay in the NFC Championship, and then probably would have beat New England to go to the Super Bowl 31. So that's cool. We'll check one more thing. I guess that's all that I got for today. And yeah, that'll wrap up all the comments. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you can be sure to join us live, okay? We'll be live every day next week that they're practicing in Spartanburg. So that's always going to be, see, I think the practice is all usually around 10. So it's probably going to be around 1-ish every day that I go live. Sometimes it changes a little bit, but if you set that bell notification, you'll be able to see it. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte Vibe.